we signed at Chaguaramas earlier. That was on Wednesday. The days, it seems so many. They've been very long days and nights, so it feels very long ago, but it was just on Thursday. Thursday, yes, thank you. In our deliberations, the heads addressed the issue of the future of CARICOM economies and agreed to deepen the regional framework for growth and development through the pursuit of a development path which engenders inclusiveness of all stakeholders and which would lift the knowledge base, innovation capability, and entrepreneurial capacity of CARICOM nationals to engage in competitive, higher value-added economic activities. And all this is in regard to economic growth as we focus and concentrated on quite an in-depth discussion on economic growth in the region. In accordance with that strategic approach, heads of government agreed to the following. To the immediate one, design and execution of a resource mobilization strategy to facilitate targeted interventions by governments to catalyze and ignite growth in the CARICOM states. Secondly, adoption of a stabilization and growth agenda which emphasizes removal of constraints on competitive production as well as proactive facilitation and support for the private sector aimed at catalyzing growth in critical economic sectors. Heads of government also agreed that the Bureau of the Conference would be charged with the responsibility of advancing this decision, and in this regard the Secretariat would circulate a comprehensive program within 1 month for the consideration of member states. On the issue of transportation in the region, heads of government agreed to the reintroduction of a single domestic space in the interest of hassle-free travel in the region and mandated the CARICOM Secretariat in collaboration with CARICOM Impacts and other relevant agencies to coordinate and commence discussions on the strategy for the reintroduction of the single domestic space. A new item on our agenda which really engaged the heads in a very positive manner was to have us agree to convene a high-level meeting on persons with disabilities and special needs. The heads of government therefore took the opportunity of the conference to begin a regional dialogue to highlight and address the issues and challenges being faced by such persons. This was a proposal coming out of the President of Haiti, His Excellency President Martelly, which was unanimously adopted by all member states represented here. On the issue of genocide and slavery, and once again as we approach Emancipation Day, August 1, I think this is something of great importance for us in the region. A committee under the chairmanship of the Prime Minister of Barbados, consisting of the chair of CARICOM, myself, and the leaders of Guyana, Haiti, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Suriname, will oversee the work of a CARICOM Reparations Commission made up of the chairs of national reparation committees and a representative of a research unit at the University of the West Indies to drive this issue being the issue of genocide and slavery reparations. So very positive outcome from this as well, adopted unanimously by heads. We held meetings with the President of Venezuela and the President of the Dominican Republic. The President of the DR has requested membership of the community and indicated his country was very interested and still very interested in becoming a member of the CARICOM. Heads of government indicated their intention to deliberate on the matter and to revert at some subsequent time to the Dominican Republic. With respect to the conversations with the President of Venezuela, His Excellency President Maduro proposed the reactivation of the joint CARICOM Venezuela Commission based on the long-standing trade and investment agreement, which could lead to increased trade, investment, and economic and other activities. In this regard, several proposals were put forward, touching on inter alia security, air and sea transport, energy, a social and cultural plan, and this involved areas to do with education and health, as well as for the development of a social and cultural plan to include other areas, and developing ties between CARICOM, and Mercosur. Heads of government agreed that many of the initiatives proposed by His Excellency President Maduro touched on issues with which the community grapples and on which cooperation could be furthered. With respect to Trinidad and Tobago, we have agreed for a meeting to be convened in Trinidad and Tobago with representatives from Venezuela on or about the 23rd of July, later this month. CARIFESTA, heads of government, received an update from the President of Suriname with respect to CARIFESTA, and we were all enthused by the prospect of the Caribbean people coming together once again to celebrate and showcase our very famous artistic skills. This will take place from 16 to 25 August in Suriname. And another related matter, we spent some time talking about security issues, and I indicated to the heads of government information we had received only within the last couple of days, where the meetings with Interpol. As you do, you have that document? All right, well, I have my original document, so I can use that. For some reason, I don't seem to have it. Okay, this is from Mr. Forbes. I'm advising in October 2009, during Interpol's annual general conference in Russia, Impacts was formally accepted as an associate member of Interpol. This followed upon the signing of an MOU between then CARICOM Secretary General Sir Edwin Carrington and Interpol Secretary General Mr. Ronald Nober during preparations for Cricket World Cup 2007. On Monday and Tuesday of this week, Mr. Forbes represented CARICOM at Interpol's regional meeting in Curacao. He gave an update on Impacts and the current role of Impacts and contribution to regional security. And upon his departure, he was advised on Wednesday that a vote was taken and 95% of those present voted in favor of establishing an Interpol liaison office with Impacts. This is with a view to later transforming it into a regional sub-directorate or sub-regional bureau. The net effect of this will be greater access to Interpol databases by CARICOM Impacts and therefore to the CARICOM. And so we welcome this move. As you know, Impacts is important here in Port of Spain, and this will certainly help us with our security agenda, citizen security and safety. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much. I'll ask Ambassador LaRocque to address us, and then we will take questions from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister, members of the media, Ambassador Sam, members of staff of the Secretariat. First of all, let me also point out that there were some discussions as well on the issue of ICT, the role of ICT in development, and also on health and human resource development, also within the context of our development of our community. Our heads agreed that these two items would receive focused attention at the sessional meeting which will be held in St. Vincent and Grenadines in early next year, either sometime in early February. Again, this was in the context of the major contribution that was being made, and the fact that CAFA, the Caribbean Public Health Agency that was launched this year, a few days ago, demonstrates some of the reform work that we're doing in terms of consolidating institutions of the community and focusing our attention on providing public health care where it's much needed to address issues like non-communicable diseases and the like. I think all in all, we need to recognize that the discussions that were held over the past 3 days were very collegiate. I think they sought to advance a lot of work that we have to get done in the community. You normally hear things are frank, they were frank, but frank in a way that begins to point in a particular direction. And some of the work will continue for the Bureau and into the intersessional meeting. We also had a brief discussion as well on the reform process in our community. And that also will carry forward as the reform process is one that's going to be ongoing over the next few years.